All right, guys, it's close to Halloween. Let's take a look at a horror movie. Growing up, these were some of my favorite movies. I think I watched them until the tapes ran out. That's not me, by the way. That's just some random stock footage kid. This is me. I'm in my 40s now. Join me as I go back and watch these movies through adult eyes and hopefully don't wreck my childhood in the process. This is New Thoughts on Old Stuff. So obviously there's lots of horror movies that I could talk about. As a child, my mother was really into musicals and she was into horror movies. So I saw quite a bit of both. At the time, this movie that I'm going to talk about came out in 1987. I would have been 9 at the time. So my mother and father obviously weren't showing me The Exorcist or Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street, any of those, because I was still too young. They would, however, let me watch some of the PG-13 and PG horror movies. Think like The Monster Squad, or actually this one, The Gate.
There is a passageway to the most evil place you can imagine. A gate behind which the demons wait to take back what was once theirs. And now, someone has opened the gate.
You got demons.
You guys are serious about that demon stuff?
They have opened the gate. Pray it's not too late.
When I watch this movie now, it's actually not that bad. It plays like a 1980s version of Goosebumps, before Goosebumps existed. To be honest, if I had a kid, I'd probably let him watch it. The only difference I kind of see when watching it now is that 1980s PG-13 is a little bit different than 2022's PG-13. There's a lot more gore, but I still think it's a pretty solid movie. The biggest plot hole in the movie is they never really say how the gate was open. Little Stephen Dorff dreamt about it, and when he woke up, it was true. I remember being a little afraid of this movie as a kid, but I couldn't really place where the fear was coming from while watching it back. Was it the overuse of the dead dog? Was it the dad's explanation to his son about why his friend is a bit odd?
Look, son. Let me tell you something about Terry. You remember last year when Terry's mom died?
Yeah.
Well, ever since then, Terry's been a little strange.
Was it the little minions? Or perhaps it was something deeper. When I really took the time to think about it, it might have been something that was going on in real life.
Let me introduce our guests today. They are young, smart, good-looking kids who have murdered in the name of Satan.
One is the pagan or occultic community, and the other community is, of course, the homosexual community. Interestingly enough, they go hand in hand.
They show these same programs, the rock concerts, on television, and it's just like, oh, hell was let loose. In fact, you may not like what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it anyway because I'm not afraid to speak out. I think that the music in hell for eternity will be some of this rock music with all its vulgarities and all of its sexual innuendos.
Listen to the beginning of In League with Satan from Venom's album, Welcome to Hell. Outside intelligent forces with supernatural power are occasionally able to play an artist much like we would play a musical instrument.
All right, listen for I Live with Satan, exactly. You might want to turn it up just a little out here on the floor. I live with Satan, listen again.
There is a form of music that absolutely should be avoided by saintly people.
Let me tell you, so the lyrics to real rock music is nothing more than satanic cyanide.
Let's go on. All right, I'll end it there. I think that gives you an idea.
So in the 80s, there was mass hysteria about satanic cults running wild. Now, I'm sure this hysteria has always been around, But the new thing was that it was moving into your neighborhoods and could be disguised as anyone. By the end of the decade, it would become to be known as the Satanic Panic. So because I was raised in the church, I remember learning about all of the threats to my soul as a child. The evil satanic messages on rock albums, the use of children for satanic rituals. But the one I remember vividly is when my family was given pamphlets describing how the owner of Procter & Gamble was giving a large portion of their profits to the Church of Satan and how we should no longer buy their products. It was a wild time to be in church for sure. The Gate actually touched on a few of these subjects. Backmasking, which is when you play record backwards to reveal hidden messages, is addressed. The effects of metal music on youth stability, and even dabbling into rituals of the occult. It's a really good snapshot of what was being looked at the time. I think the really scary part is that people wanted to believe these conspiracies. What was unique about The Gate was when you played the record backwards in the film, it gave you directions on how to actually close a portal to hell. Let's hope the solution will be as easy as that when the next conspiracy shows its face. Happy Halloween.